You might not be aware, but in a small country of Lithuania, people have been buying Bayraktar for Ukrainian soldiers for 5 million euros. Just in 3 days, civilians have bought a Bayraktar drone, armed with bombs and rockets, to support Ukraine army forces. Yes, you heard right. Never had any country civilians bought a heavy war machines to defend another country. Such actions will definitely go down in a history. And today I'm proud to be Lithuanian. Everybody in Lithuania joined the crowdfunding campaign, from government ministers to children who asked parents to transfer their savings out to Bayraktar. People donated from €1 to as much as we can. I remember in the first days of war, we were in shock. We didn't know what to do, but now we know, and we do. And yes, hi, I'm Nika. Welcome to my channel. This is my very first video. Please subscribe to the channel here. I will be happy to the moon and back. Slava Ukraini, sending Bayraktar for heroes, and today let's see what kind of transport will be bought by Russians in their country. From the first day of war in Ukraine till now, the list of automobile manufacturers which has plants in Russia has shrunk so much as you can count them on your fingers, and maybe one hand. Last year, the Russian car industry was ranked 11th in the world, with 1.5 million cars, the highest number of cars produced in the world. It surpassed countries that are known for producing large automakers, countries like Canada, France and Italy. However, while 1.5 million sounds very large, the Russian car industry counts just 2% of the world's car manufacturers. But I'm not sure if I should say just or even. After hearing about sanctions in March, Volvo was the first to announce a suspension of car exports. Later, the suspension was announced by Renault. But let us not forget that at the same time Putin was talking on a phone to Macron about war situations, and maybe Putin said, "I need space." But Macron understood that Putin is a space. So Renault resumed production in Russia soon. Putin received a space and probably say, "What's that, Macron?" And literally Renault remained misunderstood and are the ones who left Russia not once, but twice. But I don't know if it's a big plus to do something twice, maybe better once, but for sure, as BMW did by stopping exports and closing its plant in Kaliningrad, which produced about 12,000 cars a year. Volkswagen suspended exports to Russia and production to Kaluga and Nizhny Novgorod. The Kaluga plant alone employed about 4,000 people. In addition, Volkswagen donated 1 million euros to charity to take care of Ukrainian refugees, while Skoda donated 400,000, and Skoda exit from Russia was not pleasant, as Russia was the second largest market. Skoda sold in Russia about 90,000 cars a year. Come to think of it, 90,000 is a capacity of Wembley Stadium in London. General Motors, Aston Martin and Jaguar Land Rover suspended exports and sales in Russia. Ford also suspended production in Russia, producing 21,000 cars and about 20,000 trucks a year. Mitsubishi, which had 141 dealerships in Russia, has suspended the sales. Ferrari and Mercedes-Benz not only suspended exports but also donated 1 million euros each to the Ukrainians. Honda suspended sales of cars and motorcycles. But to be fair, Honda had already announced in 2020 that it would suspend the sales in Russia in 2022. Did we know more than we did? Have we known it since? Suzuki suspended sales not only to Russia, but also to Ukraine. And how about Tesla? Tesla did not close its plant in Russia. because it doesn't have any plant in Russia. But Tesla supports Ukraine, and Tesla will rapidly pay 3 months' salary to Ukraine employees asked to return home to fight. Moreover, Elon Musk's SpaceX has sent thousands of Starlink satellite internet kits to Ukraine. It helps to ensure the internet connection in the territory of Ukraine, which is very important not only in daily life but also during the war. Already in the first weeks after the imposition of sanctions, car repair service prices in Russia have doubled and are likely to become more expensive over time. Certain parts manufacturers and sellers have suspended their sales and exports. If this continues, the Russians will soon start using parts from washing machines to automobile repair. And unfortunately, it's not a joke. The shortage of microchips has already been felt in recent years, but the supply chain has stalled even more after the invasion in Ukraine. That's why Russia decided to resolve the problem and use the controls and panels from the all household appliances for the cars. The situation in Russia is worsening. The Bosch company has stopped supplying its components. The current storage became so great that the control units were removed from the cars, then parked in parking places. Blocks are being reused for other cars, leaving the conveyor again to drive them to parking places. Exports to Russia were halted by Bridgestone, with production reduced by Michelin, Nokian and Pirelli tires. I'm not certain how this will affect Russia, because it seems that the tires have not been prioritized never. Let's not forget that when a 60-kilometer Russian convoy stopped, it entered the Ukraine mud. One of the assumptions was that the Russian cars had cheap, long-unused Chinese tires. So probably not much will change after the sanctions. But Russia has tackled the storage of tires even more cleverly. A report appeared in April stating that policemen would not penalize drivers for minor violations of the road traffic rules if they were transporting goods, agriculture products, or what was necessary to support sustainable economic development. We sustainable drivers will not be penalized for minor car flaws such as bare tires. What about that? But maybe the tires will not be in short supply because Continental, which has stopped producing, has already resumed production to Russia. Okay, I know. Continental produces not only tires, but some kinds of electronic components. But that doesn't change the fact that we have resumed production. Oh, why, Continental, why? Why doing this? I have been buying your tires for 10 years. I feel tired, and do you know what I want to do now? I want to remove tires from my car and cut them with the scissors like those Russian women who cut the Chanel bags. Many manufacturers have closed, but Russian car sales are still 100%. In March, the price for cars rose up to 40%, plus sales drops to 60%. After all, that's not a 100%. I wish we continue with the 100% sales. And now let's see what will be the latest car trends in 2022. I'll start with the hottest model of the year, Lada Niva Travel. Just take a look to those lines, those blinking lights. But this model is hottest not because of them. It's hot because every single new Lada Niva Travel was flaming up in the first kilometers. And here the true meaning of Lada Niva Travel became crystal clear. With this car you can travel to the car service, AutoVAZ had made a decision to recall cars already sold and stop new cars from being sold. Of course, the cause of the fire was later determined. Niva factory's assembly workers violated the assembly technology by attaching a plus starter cord incorrectly, and cars caught fire. But it's good that the Russians are learning quickly from their mistakes. And AutoVAZ decided to cancel imported parts from abroad as soon as possible and use only local components. According to AutoVAZ, the simpler the Lada technological cars, the less complicating and less problem. They hope that resuming to carburetors and rolls without airbags, without ABS and other electronic systems will resolve all the issues, because these components were also imported from foreign countries. I would like to point out that 50% of Lada's components are imported from other countries. We will most likely refuse more components than what is written in their statements. And there is an old anecdote saying that a Lada with brakes is a Lada made to individual order. It looks like this will quickly become a reality. In another universe, the Russian government has also developed a project to validate the time machine, which allows it to move back 30 years to 1992. Then the Euro 0 standard expired. The government is legalizing the production of all Euro standard cars. We decided to make cars even with Euro 0 standard, while in the real world, current regulations require cars to be Euro 5 and higher standards. But of course, for Russia, which is living on a separate planet, it doesn't really matter. Actually, we now can't produce cars at all if not in this way, because by not using electronic control units, the Euro 5 standard is just as far away as it is here. So the only way to continue production is going to back to 90s. According to some sources, several thousand such Stone Age polluting cars have already been assembled. But to be honest, I'm not worried at all with the theoretically increased pollution of Lada, because in general Lada is an ecological model. After all, how can it pollute when it doesn't start? Russia is ready to reduce car technology requirements much more if it's needed to maintain car production, but that will only benefit local car makers who have more than 5,000 workers. So, for example, China's Haval plant, one of the few foreign car makers still in the game, will not be able to take advantages of the lowered requirements and will have to produce modern cars instead of horse-drawn carriages. Ironically, Russia can no longer produce existing models that are far from modern. However, it promises to create new car models. In the Lipetsk region, there is a closed motor invest plant, which is now a great opportunity to open. And I quote, "Now, when Russia has been left without Western technology, at this plant will be produced completely new cars." I will note that without Western technology, Russia can make only the car body. Nevertheless, we have announced that over 13 million rubles will be invested in the new line, where will be velvet and painted car bodies, and here will be assembled around 20,000 Evolute electric vehicles from models per year. On the other hand, we must put all optimism aside. This is because nobody knows exactly what kind of cars will be produced. Experts speculate that the Russians will collect cheap Series Chinese cars. Since the Russians have already decided to review Motor West, I'm just thinking maybe it would be worth resuming the supercar Russia manufacturing, which was shut down in 2014. Did you know that Russia has made these impressive Lamborghini-like cars? After all, when Lamborghini and Ferrari have stopped their sales, the rich people will want to have something more than just a hot ladder in a garage, won't we? So maybe it's worth resuming. While the real fact is that Russia is made of about 80% of imported parts. In other words, only the body is produced in Russia. So, even after resuming, literally such a supercar could end up only in a garage. To be fair, the exit of Western manufacturers means better opportunities for China Great Wall Motors and Geely plants, where seats are already growing strongly, so it's likely the trend is tangible. Russia can buy original Chinese models and present them as its own models, stick Russian brand labels on Chinese parts, and so on. But not everybody in Russia wants Chinese cars. Rich people are now searching how to get Western cars a not so legal way from Georgia, Kazakhstan, and also from China. We pay much more than other buyers in the world. Analytics say that now automobile prices in Russia are the highest in the world. And how it will be in the future, we will see. And today that's it about cars. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel, and also you can support my videos on patreon.com. So thanks for watching and see you, bye!